and welcome back to The Bright Side. Macy here, the Bright Side Girl, and today I am doing my May TBR. Okay, so for May I have a little bit of a weird situation happening. I still want to be in my spring mode and reading more spring books. You guys will see more about that in my April wrap up. But I also have a couple of releases coming out, one in particular that I'm really excited about, so I need to reread some books in order to prepare for that. So we are going to start off talking about that. So in May, I believe on May 15th, War Storm by Victoria Aveyard is releasing, and I am really excited about it. Red Queen was the first true fantasy book that I read last year, and last year kind of kicked off this whole whirlwind of booktube and reading so much more than I had been. In past years, I really hadn't read a fantasy book in quite a while until I read Red Queen. I know this is kind of a hit or miss book for most people. Part of that may be that I had not read a lot of fantasy until Red Queen. So to me, this was very original, very exciting, very thrilling. I could see maybe if you've read a lot of other fantasy that it wouldn't be that way so much, but I still love it, and we're gonna confirm that this May as I reread Red Queen, and this is the special collector's edition that I got for Christmas, and it's beautiful and it has fan art in it. And then I'm gonna reread Glass Sword and King's Cage. Sincerely hope that I can get to all three of these and War Storm in time. I'm only going to give myself about 2.5 weeks, which is quite a bit to read these books. Some of them are really large, and I do have a lot of other things I want to read in May as well. I don't want Red Queen to take up my entire May, but I love this. I found a playlist for it on Spotify, and I just got so into it last year, and I really can't wait to dive back into the story, and I hope that I love it as much as I did when I read it last year, as I will with this upcoming reread. Next up, I am following along with Emma Books' year-long reread or readathon of basically all the Cassandra Clare Shadowhunters books. So I have not read all of Cassandra Clare's books. I actually only recently read The Mortal Instruments last August, and I just started The Infernal Devices in April. So with that being said, I am getting ready to, as it's currently April, hopefully to finish the next one on the list. But for most of May, Clockwork Prince is next up on that list of Cassandra Clare books to read. I'm loving this readathon because I don't really want to read them back to back to back. As far as without any other books in between, which is rare for me. Usually when I'm in a series, I like to just keep reading that series, but with this one, I'm really wanting to just read them a little bits at a time, partially because they're so large and partially because I'm just not as in love with them as I was hoping to be. They are getting better as the books go along, and I'm really hoping that I can fall more in love with this book, but you'll learn more about Infernal Devices in my April wrap up as well. But I'm reading this one for May. Then I was originally going to read at least book 1 in the Wicked Lovely series by Melissa Marr in April, but I kind of got caught up in some other things that we'll talk about again in my April wrap up. And I also started this, but then I realized that it was an excellent audiobook, and because there are so many in the series and because I just love a good audiobook, I think I'm going to listen to this whole series in audiobook. I try to, if I can find really fabulous audiobooks, I try to just save those for listening and then reading the books that the audiobooks are not very good. For example, personally, I did not like the Red Queen audiobooks. They kind of threw me off a little bit. I usually listen for about 5 minutes to see if I can kind of get in the flow. Those ones are not for me. I'm definitely going to reread those in the physical form. But also because this is such a large series, sometimes it's nice to do in audiobook form rather than in the physical form. But anyway, The Wicked Lovely is a fae story, and it's just all about fairies, and it's dark, and it's set in modern times and in the fae world, and I haven't really ever read a true fairy book. The only fairy books that I have read are the Cassandra Clare books, and so far I read 40 pages of this one before I decided to switch to audiobook, and I really liked it. So I'll let you guys know in my May wrap up how I felt about The Wicked Lovely. Then with my classics for May, I hope to read Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. This is the Barnes & Noble Classics edition. This also has And Through the Looking Glass. I'll read both of those. And it has the pretty silver pages and the built-in bookmark. And it is just gorgeous. This was the classic book that I chose for month 2 in my spring reading. It's just such a springy story, you know, there's lots of gardening, and plus I just finished Heartless in April, and it just got me really in the mood to read Alice in Wonderland. I am not sure if I ever read this as a kid. I am having this issue remembering the books that I actually physically read versus just watching the movies or the TV shows that go along with them. I don't think that I ever actually read this, so I'm really excited to go into it. Plus, this goes along with I am getting ready to film a video. I am reading as many of my favorite YouTubers' favorite books this year. And Haley in Bookland is one of my favorite booktubers. I recently read The Book Thief. I think I talked about that in my February wrap-up. And this is also her other favorite book. But it just happened to be those were the books that I was reading lately. This will kind of count for that as well. And because I am reading Alice in Wonderland, I like to read a fairy tale retelling at least once a month. Plus, fairy tale retellings are just wonderful for springtime. And so I'm going to start Splintered. I might read the other 2 in the series as well, but this is basically an Alice in Wonderland retelling. And it's really cool, and it's got all those spring vibes, and it's gonna go along with it. Especially since I read Heartless last month, I am just really in Alice in Wonderland mode, so hopefully I can get to this one as well. And the last book that I plan to read, but I hope to listen to in May, is Legendary by Stephanie Garber. I listened to Carball by Stephanie Garber on audiobook in January. It is read by Rebecca Soler, who is my favorite audiobook narrator right now. She does all the Lunar Chronicle books, and she does all of Marissa Meyer's books as well on audio form. She is just absolutely fabulous. Caraval was so awesome. It's one of my favorite books of the year. I cannot wait to listen to Legendary, and hopefully Overdrive will get it in soon enough that I can listen to it like right away, because it is one of my most anticipated books of the year. So excited. And last time they got Caraval in pretty early, so hopefully I can listen to that one in May and not in June. I'm basically going to listen to it whenever I can. Hey you guys, that is the gist of my TBR for May. I do have some other books kind of like floating around in the back of my head, and I definitely have some more audiobooks that I'm going to be listening to, but it kind of depends on when things come in from the library, and also when I'm finishing things, and just how life goes, of course. So you can tune in to my May wrap-up to see which books I actually finished and read from this TBR. But let me know what you guys are reading down below, and maybe some of your favorite springtime reads as well. And then get ready, because in June I will be talking about Mermaid Marathon, which I am so excited about, and I did last year, and you can watch that video, and it's coming soon, and you better get ready for that mermaid fabulousness, because it's my favorite time of the year. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time on the bright side. Bye!